Sports Plaza. Today we're going to be discussing the post-match analysis of Mumbai versus Punjab. I also have Farad and Surya with me. यार मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा मुंबई कर क्या रही है 5 out of 5 लॉसेस फराद आई स्टार्ट विद यू मुंबई की प्लेइंग 11 के बारे में मतलब बहुत सवाल उठ चुके हैं बट व्हाट इज मुंबई प्लेइंग 11 वेयर इज द बैटिंग डेप्थ
वेयर इज द बैटिंग डेप्थ, वेयर इज द बॉलिंग डेप्थ? कुछ नहीं चल रहा, आपका बैटिंग नहीं चल रहा, बॉलिंग नहीं
सर
चल रहा,
आज तो
मतलब
फिर भी एक्स्ट्रा बॉलर खिलाया था यू हैव तिलक वर्मा जो बॉलिंग कर लेते हैं ब्रेविस भी बॉलिंग कर लेते हैं पोलार्ड भी
पोलार्ड कर लेता।
कर लेते हैं तो मैं
किसी ने भी
कहूंगा
नहीं
आज
किया ना उनमें
बैटरी
से।
शॉट गए थे पर क्या चल क्या रहा है यार ये
मतलब अगर उनादकट आप नंबर 7 पे खिला रहे हो तो मतलब आई मीन मैं आपको ऑफ कैंप पे भी वही बोल रहा था कि ही इज नॉट अ बैट्समैन एंड ही इज बेयरली अ बॉलर। ये बात है। ठीक है, मतलब हर मैच में ये 200 खाने वाली टीम है एंड उतने ही रन नहीं करने वाली भी टीम है। मतलब समझ, आई डोंट नो वेयर दैट वन विक्ट्री आल्सो इज गोइंग टू कम फ्रॉम। किसी को सम हैव टू प्ले वेरी बैडली टू लूज अगेंस्ट मुंबई इंडियंस। ऐसा हो गया है मतलब।
so
फर्स्ट वी थॉट
Farhad
गुजरात।
talking about lack of bowling depth Surya I'll come to you do you think it's more a lack of bowling depth or more a lack of batting depth
I think it's a combination of both and a lack of clarity. They just
and you
seem.
have the Indian captain captaining the side, the most successful IPL captain. People talk about him. And 5 losses are already people are questioning Rohit Sharma's captaincy. What is happening?
It's quite difficult to really put into words because Mumbai Indians have chopped and changed in seasons gone by. If you see 2014 and 15, when 2014 as well they lost their first 5 games. 2015 they lost their first 4 games and they went on to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So, but in subsequent years they realized that कि यार हम शुरुआत तो हम धीरे ही करते हैं. Let us back our players. So in 2018 you saw they lost 3 last over thrillers to start with, but they still kept backing their side. They kept backing their players, and it almost worked. And then, of course, you saw what happened in the years to come. This time around, for some reason, it's gone helter skelter, if not to the extent of Sunrisers Hyderabad last year. Suddenly, the selections have just gone all over the place. I mean, I don't know what is the status with their overseas players. Is it, are some of them injured? Some injury that we're not aware of with, a Riley Meredith or, uh, you know, uh, a
You
Fabian
have
Allen.
Fabian Allen, you have Tim David.
Tim
So
David.
Farhad, Surya spoke about overseas. The thing is, you can see it, I can see it, Surya can see it. In the dugout, you have great coaches, you have great legends of the game. Why can't they see it?
आई मीन इट इज इनएक्सप्लिकेबल, मतलब इनएक्सप्लिकेबल, मतलब ये तो मतलब फैक्ट हो गया है कि अभी मुंबई, मतलब लेट्स नॉट होप कि दे कैन बी पार्टी पूपर्स। मतलब उतना ही होगा, मतलब इन तिलों में तेल नहीं है, ये बात है। नहीं है भाई, मतलब यहाँ से अगर वे लोग टर्न अराउंड करके टॉप 4 में आएंगे तो मैं तो मिरेकल मानूंगा। इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन, नॉट विद दिस बॉलिंग लाइनअप, नॉट विद दिस बैटिंग लाइनअप। मतलब आप कर क्या रहे हो यार? मतलब मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा। स्काई एट नंबर 5, किसके लिए आप बचा के रख रहे हो उसको 5 नंबर पे?
And he's played 3 innings. All 3 innings he's performed and actually saved being Mumbai's saving grace in the middle order,
या
if I have to put it.
या एब्सोल्युटली, मतलब हर मैच में स्काई खेला है एंड स्काई ही खेला है। दैट इज द थिंग। ऊपर से रन्स ना तो रोहित के ना तो ईशान किशन के। ईशान किशन भी मतलब शुरू में
ईशान
थोड़ा सा
दो मैच
उसे,
चलो ठीक है he was holding the orange cap at one point but
यार
not been consistent in the last
टू
two
बी
three matches.
वेरी ऑनेस्ट उसका प्रॉब्लम इज कंसिस्टेंसी एंड उसका स्ट्राइक रेट देखो यार। बाकी सब छोड़ो, चलो रन नहीं हुए नहीं हुए, स्ट्राइक रेट इज 121। 121 फॉर अ प्लेयर लाइक ईशान किशन इज रिडिकुलस बैड। ही इज नॉट इन फॉर्म यार। वो मतलब पहले चल गया 3 कैच छोटे हुए थे उसके, याद हो तो आपको। तो वो फ्लो में हो गया लेकिन वो फॉर्म में नहीं है। ऐसे तो इंडियन टीम में तो नहीं आएगा, फॉर श्योर नहीं आएगा।
We'll come to
बेंच
the
पे
Indian team
बैठेगा।
later. We'll stick to Mumbai Indians. मतलब एक ही Indians पे रहते हैं आज के लिए. So Surya, last time Mumbai played 2 overseas players, Pollard and Brevis. Today they increased that number by one. They included Timel Mills back after dropping him for one sudden game, and still they have the potential to include someone else. You mentioned Riley Meredith. I'm mentioning Fabian Allen and Tim David to extend the batting order. और जहाँ तक फिफ्थ bowling option का सवाल आता है तिलक वर्मा स्पिन डालते हैं ब्रेविस स्पिन डालते हैं पोलार्ड डालते हैं अगर आप फैबिन एलन को लेंगे वो स्पिन डाल देंगे
Absolutely.
तो वाई आर दे नॉट प्लेइंग एंड यूटिलाइजिंग द फोर्थ ओवरसीज प्लेयर
And it can't get worse than this, really, if you look at it, because their bowling is really reliant on even Timal Mills. has kind of blown hot and cold, to be honest. And I don't think they've handled him well. By leaving him out in the last match, I'm sure even his confidence would have taken a beating. किसी के साथ भी ये हो सकता है कि आप एक मैच के लिए छोड़ के उनको वापस लाएंगे. You brought in Ramandeep Singh in the last match. What was his role? The only thing he did was run Anuj Rawat out. So, I find, certain things, it's quite tough to make head or tail of certain things. And this is so unlike Mumbai Indians. I think that is what is shocking us. We've seen, teams. Last year, I was shocked that SRH made blunders, the blunders that they actually did. But from Mumbai Indians, for a team that knows what it is to start slow, but they know what it is to win titles for fun. And with the same coaching staff, it's not as though you're seeing a massive shift in terms of the think tank or even the core group. Maybe Hardik Pandya is probably the one main player if you look at the Indian core.
I think Trent Bolt, not talking about the Indian core, correct, but Trent Bolt, one
Trent Bolt is
huge
a
missing
massive
and
miss.
too much pressure on Bumrah, man. And Bumrah has not been performing also. आज थोड़ा ठीक खेले and एक मैच ठीक खेले थे बीच में, but still
And
Bumrah
one
has
more
also
thing
got
is, you got to
there's so much
understand,
pressure on him, man. So much pressure.
विदाउट अ डाउट. एंड एक और बात यह है कि आप जितने भी बुमराह के ऊपर आप प्रेशर थोपे, ही ओनली हैज 24 डिलीवरीज टू मेक एन इम्पैक्ट. ये ऐसा हुआ ना कि एज दो यू प्लेइंग राशिद खान, बुमराह पे बैठो, बाकी सबके खिलाफ आप यू कैन गो all out on the offensive, and that's what teams are doing. They know that even Bumrah is under so much of pressure that they can
Hmm.
actually sit on him. Now at 99 for one at the halfway mark, it literally looked as though 3 overs of Bumrah were left. Even if they treat him with respect and even play him out for 20, that would be 7 overs to go and 80 to get to get to 200. That's very much possible. And even though they slowed down, they eventually found a way to get there too. Did Punjab.
Absolutely. And Farah, talking about Mumbai Indians middle order, I'd say some saving grace again today. Brevis, Tilak, Sky, both performing 3-4-5. Their positions can be one of concern. बट
देख,
मतलब है कि मतलब स्काई को ऊपर खिलाना है, ब्रेविस को नीचे खिलाना है, लेफ्ट राइट कॉम्बिनेशन मेंटेन करना है नहीं करना है, दैट इज अ कंसर्न. एंड आई एम नॉट इवन टॉकिंग अबाउट रोहित एंड निशांत फॉर्म, द ओपनर्स आर जस्ट नॉट क्लिकिंग. बट द मिडल ऑर्डर एटलीस्ट सम सेविंग ग्रेस. 11 ओवर्स मुंबई वाज 116, सो तब लग रहा था 200 तो चेज हो ही जाएंगे. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द मिडल ऑर्डर?
आई फील अगेन आज चला ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत चला, बट आई स्टिल फील कि बैटिंग ऑर्डर आपका गलत है. स्काई कैन नॉट बी अ नंबर 5. ठीक है, वो आई थिंक यू शुड स्प्लिट द टू यंगस्टर्स. तो ब्रेविस अगर 3 पे है तो स्काई शुड बी 4. आई थिंक व्हाई एम व्हाई स्काई इज प्लेइंग एट 5, क्योंकि आई थिंक द कैप्टन ऑफ द मुंबई इंडियंस इज रोहित शर्मा, एंड probably Sky is given a role of number 5, as would be in the Indian team as well probably. वहां पे भी 5 पे ही खिलाने का प्लान हो सकता है T20 वर्ल्ड कप में.
मतलब
तो
पहले तो आईपीएल का देखेंगे ना, फिर इंडिया के लिए
हाँ,
आएंगे.
बट आई मीन तो वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि आईपीएल में 5 तो मतलब यहाँ पे चलो इंडियन बैटिंग में है आपके पास 1 to 4 में, बट यहाँ पे तो यू नीड स्काई एट 4 ना. मतलब ऐसे थोड़ी है कि हर मैच में मतलब 30 बॉल में 60 चाहिए, स्काई चलो कर दो. चलो टारगेट सेट नहीं हो रहा है, 12 ओवर में 80 है, चलो स्काई रिस्पेक्टेबल टोटल पहुंचा दो. ऐसे थोड़ी होता है हर मैच में. इट कैन नॉट हैपन. आज ब्रेविस ऑल्सो स्ट्रगलिंग, फिर उसने चलाना स्टार्ट किया. सो ब्रेविस का एक आई थिंक इट्स अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ जंप फ्रॉम अंडर 19 टू इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट. ठीक है, बट यहाँ पे भी थोड़ा सा हल्का स्विंग करेगा. ही हैज द सेम थिंग एज ईशान किशन, है ना.
करेक्ट.
ईशान किशन भी स्विंग नहीं खेल पाता, ये भी नहीं खेल पाता है. मतलब ये उसने चलो चलाया आज लगे, बट हर
एंड
बार नहीं
अगर आज ये
लगेंगे.
पहली 8 बॉल देखोगे जो वैभव अरोरा डाल रहे थे, ही वाज येट टू गेट ऑफ द स्ट्राइक एंड देन
या
हिट दो ब्यूटीफुल सिक्सेस ऑफ राहुल चहर.
या
यंगेस्ट इंडियन, 18 साल के यार. मतलब मैं जब 18 साल का था तब तो बहुत दूर की बात है. एंड यू सॉ व्हाट ही डिड टुडे. व्हाट डू यू
एब्सोल्युटली.
से अबाउट दिस कमेंट, सूर्या, that is, was it too harsh when the captain actually does not appreciate performance or puts blame on some people for the loss?
You could very clearly see from Rohit Sharma's expression that there was a frustrated man standing there in the presentation, and for the third time in a row, he had to be interviewed by the same by Danny Morrison again. I think it must have got a little, a little iffy for Danny Morrison as well. But yeah, you could clearly see there was a frustrated Rohit Sharma standing there. We've been seeing that for a while now. And the last time I remember seeing this as a Mumbai Indians captain was probably back in 2014 and 15, where
Yeah.
even he couldn't explain what was going on, but they found their way out. This time around, the fact is that because there seems so much of lack of clarity, which again was similar back then. And again, one win for Mumbai Indians, and you suddenly feel, okay, are they coming back? Because it's Mumbai Indians and the reputation that they've carried, you tend to feel that way. But since it's a 10-team IPL as well this time, you just know that you might need an extra win or two. So, I think it was a heat of the moment response from Rohit. Maybe he was referring to the couple of runouts as well. That it in many ways it just summed things up. And there was a point where Surya Kumar Yadav was ready for a single, but Unadkat turned him down, and the next
Yeah.
ball Surya Kumar got out. So the main batter showed trust in Unadkat, but it was very.
Why do you think Unadkat must have turned that single down? Because Unadkat can bat. You saw in the last match against, where they had a good partnership. They had a 60-70 run partnership. In the last over, Unadkat actually hit that six. He could play the shots. Why would he turn that single down? Was it
And
because of Rabada?
And those who don't know, Unadkat actually has opened the batting in the side. Mushtaq Ali for Saurashtra as a pinch hitter, and he's done a decent job. So it's not that he's a mug with the bat. He's not a number seven, that's for sure. But he's not a mug with the bat. But I think, as you mentioned, it might just be because of Kagiso Rabada. But again, you brought it down to what, 22 to win the last over. So you gave Odin Smith that little bit of cushion, because all said and done, Odin was under pressure. After what happened
It
in the
was
last game,
22
he
of
definitely
9
was
when
pressure.
Sky was batting, when you're talking about the single that was turned down. Imagine वो single होता और मतलब even if 18 of the last over with Sky present, I would back Mumbai.
Even 20 of the last over, I think with Odin under pressure, you would back Surya Kumar to get the job done. But yeah, that was definitely a moment that looked inexplicable. But yeah, I mean, as have been so many things really. I mean, you just look at so many things that have gone wrong for Mumbai, that it's all just started to unravel out of nowhere. I think a couple of losses, or two or three losses, what Pat Cummins did the other day, somewhere around, it has hit them so hard that they've actually started deviating from their plans. It's not as though you can't come back after three losses. It's very much possible,
And
but
Mumbai has
they've just
always been a
completely gone
slow
off.
starter. Like they used to it,
Absolutely,
but the team selection just not justifying it. Farhat,
definitely.
enough about Mumbai, not taking anything away from the Punjab openers. We'll come to Mayank and Dhawan. Mayank very out of form for the initial matches. Finally getting a 50. It's his first season as captain, and Dhawan the second on the orange cap list. So, what do you think about Punjab's opening pair? Are they finally clicking, or even Mayank today looked out of form to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think पंजाब का strategy ये है कि don't really think about the runs, just go for it शुरू से लेके end तक, रुकना ही नहीं है, मतलब that is the thing. मतलब 1 से लेके 7 तक उनकी बैटिंग देखो. आज लिविंगस्टन डिडंट स्कोर, मतलब वो क्या यॉर्कर थी आज यार बुमराह की, अमेजिंग.
Crazy.
बट आज ही डिडंट क्लिक, चलो कोई नहीं. पर उसके बाद देन शाहरुख वाज ऑफ कलर, वो खेला. एंड कमिंग टू द ओपनर्स, आई थिंक धवन ने आज दिखाया कि यार एक्सपीरियंस आल्सो काउंट्स. मतलब व्हेन मयंक वाज गोइंग स्ट्रांग, ही वाज रोटेटिंग द स्ट्राइक नाइसली. फिर उन्होंने भी बाजुएं खोलनी चालू कर दी. And Mayank, I'm really happy for him. I mean, he is a earnest trier, and Aj he clicked, and he did a good job. He was also under a little pressure, the way
I
they
think
lost
under a lot
last
of
game.
pressure, मतलब he was
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
out to short bowling a lot. Single digit में उनके score चल रहे थे last three innings में. And being a
But
captain, Punjab has
yeah,
always relied on their opening pair जब मयंक KL राहुल थे. And
and
when
this
Mayank,
was one, and this was one bowling attack जहाँ पे आप फॉर्म में आ सकते थे. ठीक है, तो ये भी डिस्काउंट नहीं कर सकते. ये बॉलिंग अटैक के आगे भी आपने नहीं खेला तो फिर
I
क्या
think
खेला.
Mumbai Indians absolutely being hammered by fans, by non-fans, by everyone watching cricket. Surya, what do you think about this question? I don't know. Bairstow, a very experienced T20 batter. People are already saying should Rajapaksa be brought in? Initially, Rajapaksa was just brought as a 1-2 game replacement. He showed some spark. He actually hit the ball really well. And now people are questioning should he replace Bairstow or is it too early?
Look, I mean, the fact is that
Because Bairstow isn't keeping. You have Jitesh Sharma as a keeper.
absolutely. I think the thing is, Paksa, the one advantage he brings is that he can be a very good pace enforcer, and he's a left-hander. So Shikhar Dhawan is the only left-hander you're looking at. But again, Johnny Bairstow is one of the best white ball batters in world cricket at this point of time. One of the most dangerous, and he's used to batting up and down the order. He does it for England as well. So I think the fact, one of the reasons behind Punjab getting off to such a good start this year is this stability in selection. And you
Hmm.
see, even after the last game, they're backing Odin Smith. they're backing their players. And this is so unlike Punjab again. But in a good way, because Punjab Kings teams of yore have really gone helter skelter, but that's not the case this time. So especially for a player like Besto, I don't think you will see that change happening anytime soon, because they backing their players is something they believe in. And I honestly thought the kind of start that they got, that Dhawan and Mayank Agarwal got, I thought Punjab would probably be gunning for 220, because with each passing batter that comes in, that lineup just keeps getting all the more lethal. So I think they'll stick with Besto. I don't think that changes
I
much.
agree. I think it's too early for people to talk about Besto's removal. Another thing, Farad, Shah Rukh Khan, you said he was looking in form. I still think he's a bit off touch. There was so much hype around him. Jitesh Sharma actually being sent up to bat above Shah Rukh Khan. And that shows the confidence the management has on Jitesh Sharma. And he performed today. I think not Shah Rukh Khan, Jitesh Sharma जब 140 for 4-5 हो गया था in 16 overs after 98 for 1 in 10 overs, it actually looked that Punjab will actually struggle at 175, in which they had actually could get 220. But Jitesh Sharma, Shah Rukh, what do you think about that?
I think this IPL specifically, I think has been one of a kind because itne sare unknown entities have become known over the process. Whether it was, I think Anubhav bhi tha मेरे ख्याल में last match में कोई तो था, and
अभिनव मनोहर था गुजरात
Abhinav, Abhinav is what I meant. Yeah.
yes.
Then Badoni hai. Then Abhi Jitesh Sharma is totally unknown. मैं तो नाम भी नहीं सुना था honestly. And he's been performing and not even performing. उसका keeping भी top notch है यार. Keeping भी top notch है.
पंजाब
Absolutely.
पहले प्रभ सिमरन को खेलती थी मतलब प्रभ सिमरन still in the squad but they've gone ahead with
They've
Jitesh
gone
Sharma.
ahead.
He's doing a
Yeah,
better
they've gone
job
for.
I think.
And he bats really well. मतलब freedom से bat करता है. ज़्यादा सोचता नहीं है. So I mean, I think that also शाहरुख was looking a little off color, but आज he did his job. मतलब 6 balls में 15 मार दिए. चलो,
Another
he did
name
his
is
job.
Suresh Prabhu Desai in the last game for RCB.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think he'll have limited opportunities when Herschel comes back. But yeah, they all are grabbing it. So I mean, it's all about just transitioning, giving them match time, and seeing how they perform under pressure. And this boy has really done well. Yeah, Jitesh Sharma, I'm really surprised and pleasantly so to
The
see
name
him.
in the list is Vaibhav Arora. He can swing the ball both ways, so
हाँ,
he's bowling really well.
अच्छा डाला.
Surya, last question before we wrap up. Odean Smith still bowling the last over. I know backing is one thing, पर ओवर का ऑर्डर तो कहीं चेंज कर सकते हैं मतलब it's his first IPL season. He's not experienced. Punjab maybe backing the players. I'm not saying remove him from the team, but while always give him the last over. Today he took 3 wickets in the last over, defended that total, but you see the batting that was in front of him. What do you think about that?
I think it was the right call, because you had to bowl your best bowlers before. I think we have to talk about Ashdeep Singh, and the way he's bowling at the death. I mean, and it's not just 1 or 2 games. He's been doing it for a couple of seasons now, and somehow he's not taken in the same breath as some of the others. But I think the fact is, you try and get your best bowlers out of the way, and try and keep enough in the bank for your least likely candidate. So I think the plan from Mayank Agarwal was to slip in an over of Liam Livingston as well, and then he brought Rahul Chahar on. But because of that brevis assault, then suddenly he had to alter his plans. So and somehow I think at one stage it didn't look as though Rahul Chahar might get through 4 overs. But kudos to him as well for coming back pretty well after that first over. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to ensuring that you have the best. It comes down to the equation as well. I think if they had a few more runs to play with, maybe Odin might have been bowled out a lot earlier. I think Mumbai were 42 for 2 in 6 overs, so it allowed them to slip in a Liam Livingston over. But suddenly at the halfway mark, they were more than 100. So I think at that stage you had to get some damage control, and that was possible through wickets. So they had to go to Rabada and Arshdeep. So again, I think this is an experience that will hold Odin Smith in good stead, and it's great to see the confidence that they're showing. I'm sure he'll feel a lot better after today when compared to that last game.
Absolutely, very rightly said. So after 5 matches, Mumbai yet to open their account. Punjab getting this win, and people are just questioning Mumbai's team selection. Forget what happened in the auction. Even with what you have and what you put on the field is being questioned. So on that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Do subscribe to Sports Plaza. Thank you, Farad. Thank you, Surya.
Thank you.
And
Pleasure.
we'll be covering the entire IPL. Do stream.